pavement. It's fun, but you just inexperience is there. You can see that. Yeah, there's a lot of kids that drive their cars up there and stuff.
Huh.
Well, my timer says 7 p.m. So we'll call the November 21, 2022 EDA meeting to order.
Some microphones
I'll
on.
move we adopt agenda.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any seconds?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Approval of the October 17th, 2022 EDA minutes. Any discussion, or do I have a,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
thank you, any discussion at all? Changes, corrections? No?
I just skimmed them, and I'm not mentioned at all, and I think some of the Lux comments are actually my comments, but I wasn't, I don't know. Then I couldn't tell which were which, so, so I think whoever, I don't know.
I know the first ones were mine. I didn't get it to page 3 when we were talking to Greg from AC Red. But if you, well, take a
We
look.
can,
And if you want to amend it further, or
We-
are you good with it?
we could just table it.
I think
and
I'm
have
okay
staff
with it
review
because the comments looked okay, it's just that they attributed, I know some of them are yours and some of them were mine, but they're labeled yours, and so, I don't know.
Well, we could always table
Let's
it
table it.
and have
Okay.
staff
Take your
review
time
it based
and
off
check it out,
video.
we'll table it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
staff will review it based on the video, so.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna table that.
So I'll make a motion and table the minutes.
Second.
All right, all in agree, all in, agreement,
All in favor?
all in favor, thank you. It's like
Aye.
Monday.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
Say
Or,
nay.
yeah, I'm in
Thanks,
favor.
guys. All right, item number 4, Catherine Crane, reappointment recommendation. So Stephanie, are you?
Yep, I can
making
do
a
it.
statement?
Yeah, so Catherine Lancrane was appointed to the EDA on September 1st, 2018 to replace the unexpired term of Wanda McLaurin. Ms. Lancrane's term expires on January 31st of 2023. Ms. Lancrane's requested a reappointment to another term on the authority. City and commission authority members may request reappointment to their position. This request is considered by the authority members and recommendations made to City Council. The reappointment review is requested to be conducted at tonight's meeting. The review would provide a recommendation to City Council with the request to be considered at their November 28th City Council meeting. This term is for 6 years. The vacancy created by Dan Butler's resignation on October 17th of 2022 is currently being advertised. Applications for this position will remain open until December 31st. Candidates for this position will be interviewed at the January 17th, 2023 EDA meeting with a recommendation provided to City Council for their February 13th, 2023 meeting. So right now, the EDA is requested to provide a recommendation to City Council regarding the reappointment request of Catherine Lancrane for the additional term on the authority.
So Catherine, it's been great having you. I know you had a letter and an email. Anything you want to say to the EDA?
I guess I've appreciated the opportunity to have the input, and I would like to continue to do it. And I guess that's all that I have to say.
Okay. Oh, I don't have a microphone. Oh, here it is. So sorry. Any other discussion or any motions?
I'd make a motion that we recommend Catherine to be reappointed to the EDA for another term.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, nay? All right, motion carries. Thanks for
Thank you back.
Thanks for
They
your
did tell
service
you
and
for
looking
6
forward
years,
to.
right?
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah, but it flies by, don't worry.
Yeah, it
We
does.
don't ask that till after you're voted in.
It's just like being a U.S. Senator for 6 years.
Well, that's great.
Yes, thank you so much for your service. We appreciate it. All right, item number 5. So December 19th, 2022 EDA meeting, so we're to let Stephanie know. I don't know is there anything on the agenda? I am for one available if there's any important items that we need to address, but,
Yeah, as of now, we have no items.
okay. So, so that's information item only. If you guys, I guess, maybe we can talk to Jack and let him know of our availability or not our availability, or do we need to make a formal recommendation that we just cancel for January?
I think I don't know if we've ever had a December meeting.
I don't think
Okay.
we have
Yeah,
either.
So
Okay.
I would expect that Jack will cancel.
Yeah,
So-
okay, that sounds good.
Just
So-
more of a heads up.
Perfect, that'll be the expectation. All right, thank you. Okay, item 6.0, business activity report.
So I'm just going to give a brief summary on some of our activity reports, and then I will go in and with a little bit of more depth with the Elevage project. So our first one that we've had, as you see up there, is the concept plan for Hidden Pines, and Planning Commission just took a look at that. This 10-lot rural residential development will be on the City Council meeting for November 28th of 2022. The next step for it then will be on to preliminary plat, the public hearing, and that is tentatively scheduled right now for December 27th Planning Commission meeting. Then Stone Group Commercial Second Edition, that final plat has been approved. That was approved September 26th. Staff has received a few inquiries about businesses interested in going there, and then we also just found out that it is being put up for auction as well. So,
I saw the sign on there.
yeah.
So
they
for
just,
the whole parcel, the Hidden Pines, or the, excuse me, the Stone Group parcel?
just the commercial parcels, not the residential area.
Okay.
So the outlot B to the west is residential,
Mhm.
and not that, just the commercial properties.
So can you share what the nature of the businesses that have expressed interest, or types of businesses?
Yeah, one was a kind of a light manufacturing firm, everything, inside, no outdoor storage. And then the other one was a retail service.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
And then Washi Commercial Finishes at 21335 Aberdeen Street Northeast. That was constructed in 2004, and they've outgrown their current facility, and so they will be purchasing the property east of them. City Council approved this on September 12th of 2023 for them to amend the conditional use permit so they can expand their use. And they're hoping to start construction early spring of 2023. And then the Holiday Station store, located at 1341 187th Lane Northeast. Actually, I just had talks with them middle of week last week. They just have 2 more punch list items, and then they're ready to go with the demo and start building.
So when do they anticipate the
that.
demo? Is it a
They
December thing, or is it?
They are probably looking at early midwinter at
Okay.
this point.
Okay.
They're a little bit behind schedule, but there was some permitting that they needed to get through before they could move forward. And then also on a staff level, we've also been working with a large landowner. He has a large acres on 65, the 65 corridor within the MUSA boundary, and he's been working with staff now that he is putting his land up for sale. The property is zoned residential industrial, and we'll see where it goes from there. It's in the it's in the infancy of getting it ready for sale and seeing what they can do there, but we're starting to see it now where the big landowners are starting to want to sell off their property, so. And it's good. It's in the MUSA area too, so.
Yeah.
In the sewer, water, and sewer area?
Mm-hmm. Eventually, future city sewer and water area. Yep.
Future,
Yep.
but not right now.
No,
Okay.
no. And then lastly, we have Elevage. So the developer has updated the marketing study to determine the best type of residential use for this property. And at this point in time, It's been determined that rental townhomes is what's best for this property and what East Bethel needs the most right now. The public hearing was held on October 25th at the Planning Commission meeting. There weren't any public comments, and the commission recommended approval to City Council. So City Council will be acting on the preliminary plat on November 28th, so next Monday. Today, I just received a draft of the developer's agreement, and I got that off to our city attorney and our engineer to take a look at that to get the final numbers that we need for that. And then the developer's working on their master PUD agreement right now too. The plan is to have both those agreements at the city council work session on December 5th to start going through those and hopefully have those finalized in December. So that's where we are right now with that. If the city council approves the preliminary plat on the 28th, so next Monday, the developer is looking to submit the final plat for approval on December 12th. And that'd be the time too that the agreements would hopefully be approved as well. But again, we'll have it in front of city council, those drafts at the work session, so they can start looking at them. And then I wanted to I have a little bit of a slide presentation if you want to see a little bit more on the Elevage development.
Quick question about, so they haven't requested any TIF, so there's no required level of affordability for
No.
these units, correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Got it,
Yes.
okay.
Yep. So, one of the things is I presented this to Planning Commission, and one of the reasons why I had this slide in here is that I had heard that there was a rumor out there saying that the city sewer and water may not have capacity for this type of development. So we pulled this slide together that, our maximum is 480,000 gallons a day, and we're currently operating only at 16% of the capacity. So with the build out of just Elevage, just the residential component, we're going to be operating at about 20%. And so when these type of developments, any type of development comes into the planning department, what our role in this is to make sure that any development meets the requirements of first our comprehensive plan that's approved by our city council and also approved by Metropolitan Council, and that it also meets our zoning code. So this is just the portion out of our comprehensive plan showing that the Elevage development where it's being developed, that it is appropriate there. This land use has been approved again by Metropolitan Council and our city council, so we know that it does belong in this area. Our comp plan goes in and explains on what type of uses are allowed in the mixed use area, what are the requirements are, and then what the density is. So what are the density component, how many homes in that area. So in this specific area of the city, the density allowed is 2.25 houses to 30 homes per acre. So again, this is an approved document. What they are proposing in this area does match the city code and our comprehensive plan. There was some talks too that this development is considered high density. However, according to our approved land use plans, that it is not high density. Again, the density allowed in this area is 2.25 to 30 units per acre. And if you just do simple math, the development is 43.57 acres. That's just the residential component of it. And there's 212 units proposed. So when you do that easy arithmetic, you're getting 4.86 units per acre. According to our comprehensive plan, medium density is 4 to 12 units per acre. So this development coming in here is on the very low end of a medium density development considered legally. People's perception may be that it's a high density development because they're
Everything's not on 2 acres.
yeah, and it's all in one area, so it may be perceived as high density, but it's not. According to the Metropolitan Council and what's been approved for our city, it's on the very low end of a medium density development. And so this is just I wanted to have this color just to show the green space that's there. This is all going to be all common ground for the entire development. And then here's an aerial of the development. And you'll see the green pathways. Those are the trails that the developer is going to be putting in, with the exception, let me get my pointer here. Where's our pointer? So these stubs that are going into the neighboring developments, these are going to actually be trail easements. So the developer won't be building these because essentially it'd be a trail to nowhere, but the trail easement will be there. So when the land around it is developed, that trail easement's there and the trails can be put in, and those trail connections will connect with the other developments.
And with this density, there's also the clubhouse that's right in the middle of it.
Yeah, so if you see, this is all the townhomes, and then right in the middle, you're gonna have the clubhouse, and they're gonna have a outdoor swimming pool. This is private, it's for this development only. And then this is just a aerial of it showing, all of this is the golf course. So again, you can see these trails. So when the golf course is eventually developed, what will happen is this developer will need to link the trails from this development into where these trails are.
And at that time, I assume these are paved trails?
Yep, so
Who will pave the stuff in the Elvidge development?
yeah, and we've been discussing that with the developer, and it may be coming. It looks like he will be putting down a financial guarantee for these trails to be
Built
paved at that time. Yeah.
At some time in the future?
Mhm.
Okay.
And so I just had put this one together, just showing the number of trees that are going into this development. He's got numerous amounts of trees and shrubberies and perennials and yeah, so here you have the trees. He's putting in 411 trees throughout the whole development. There's 53 ornamental trees, 1,900 shrubs, and over 2,500 perennials that will be part of the development as well. Again, just showing the green space. We call it green space in the planning field. This is what's going to be common ground for this development. Common open space, I guess, there's going to be public trails through there, of course. And then this is just the layout of the types of townhomes there's going to be. So there's going to be all different types. There's going to be row homes, 4-unit home complexes, 6-unit complexes, and I believe there's a couple that are just 2 units. Then we'll get back to the architectural standards. All of them are going to have the same type of architectural standards. Those are the materials that will be used. And so with the architectural standards, this is something that will become part of the master PUD agreement. In there we'll have things of, what type of materials have to be put in there, and the landscaping, and or the management company, that sort of thing. So this is the clubhouse. And in the clubhouse, they're going to have an exercise room and a room rental, outdoor pool, bathrooms, offices. And here's the elevations of the clubhouse. Building materials for the townhomes, again, the same as what the clubhouse is. He's going for kind of the modern farmhouse look on all of his buildings.
I'm very familiar with DJR. They do a nice job on all their projects. They typically work on a little more dense projects, maybe 4 to 5 stories, but they do a nice job.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the row type homes, there's going to be alleyways in between them, so they're gonna be rear loading, so this is the front of it. And then they'll have rear loading alleyways with 2-car garages. And they have a 6-unit townhomes. So I thought this was interesting, the 6-unit townhomes. Because here you have 2 units on the end, 2 units on the end, and then you're gonna have one here, ground level, and then you're gonna have a unit up on the top.
Yeah, it's a nice job with the varied facades,
Mhm.
so you have a different look, and
Yeah.
yeah, I do like that.
So 4-unit homes. Then some of them, yeah, will be front loading right off the street. And again, the alleyways. And I know Jack, in the report, he had added some in here too. He gave a summary of the economic impact and financial facts of the project, going into details on the road and utility costs, the utility system capacities, tax revenues, the traffic study, sewer and water access charges, and then some other things like there's no TIF that's been requested for the project. The developer's not requesting any assistance or incentives that will pay for all the improvements internal within the project. The project meets all the requirements for drainage and stormwater and erosion control. Wetland and floodplain delineations have been completed, and the project's design has included these portions of the site as avoidance or areas to be mitigated. All required environmental reviews have been satisfied. Again, the Planning Commission has conducted 3 public hearings on this actual project over the past 3 years, and discussion of the project has been a subject on 6 city council meetings between January 6th of 2020 and May 10th of 2021, including a joint meeting with the Planning Commission on May 3rd, 2021. So this has been a long time coming, this project. We've worked very diligently on this for the last 3 years, and it's finally nice seeing it all come together.
In looking at the bullet points, utility system capacities, there's the acronym that's MCES, and I can't pull up exactly what MCES means, but I'm assuming where Jack talks about having to use 200,000 gallons per month to dilute the raw sewage. That's the wastewater treatment plant, or?
That's correct, yep. Yep, and MCES is Met Council Environmental Services.
So basically, we're pumping water into that plant to treat the sewage because we don't have enough usage on it. And I'm not trying to bring up old.
Yep, that's correct, though, yep.
So it seems to me that it's a no-brainer to get more usage on it. And I look at the capacity, the amount of usage that this project isn't going to put on it. I mean, it's not going to come close to taxing that system.
No. You're
Well,
correct.
and you also got to consider that that's only half the plant. You know, capacity-wise, they have expansion plans. They didn't build the full plant out at the beginning too, so there's more capacity. There's plenty of capacity.
Oh, I know it. I mean, I remember, Steve, when we were serving together on the council, how we had talked about one time a SBR, you know, a small batch reactor and stuff like that. This is, yeah. Okay, so this is almost like a no-brainer from an economic standpoint for the city, from the way I look at it.
That's correct, yep.
And you know, the other thing that I see about this that's nice, it's at the south end of the city so that it doesn't put more traffic on Highway 65. We've got Isanti blowing houses in like crazy, so let Ham Lake deal with those cars.
Yep.
Any other thoughts, comments?
Can you speak to, so we know the Quick Trip is coming in starting next year. They'll start construction of that.
Yes. Yep.
What about other commercial properties or plans?
Well, I do know, so Quick Trip, yes, it's in their their financial budget to break ground in 2023. So we were just talking to those guys last week too. They're getting ready to submit their building plans finally. So that review can be done and they can get their building permit and get in the ground right away next spring. And yes, I know the developer does have another person of interest that's looking at the site that's right by Quick Trip. There's another commercial outlot right now, and he does have someone there. And once this residential development is approved and starts moving forward, there's a commercial component that is ready to go as well.
I know that there's some questions on it, so I just want to reconfirm the statement. All required environmental reviews have been satisfied for the project.
That is correct.
Okay.
And just a comment from me coming from this development side of the world. I know Elevage is a good developer. He's typically developed dense, self-contained projects where there's a professional management company in place. This is a big part of our community. It's going to take a big portion of our parkway. And I just would like for the council to be certain that the proper things are in place, that it's going to be a well-maintained, we've got rental residents with yards. This is different. So I just want to make sure that we have the proper language in the developer agreement that calls for maintenance of that and oversight and professional property management.
Yeah, we've had some discussions already about that and how we make sure that is maintained. They are bringing in a professional management outfit to manage the properties. So I don't know if they've told us who it is, but
We do know who it
Okay.
is.
so
Yeah, I think it's somebody who's managing their property in Shoreview who does a very, very good job, but management companies can change on an annual basis, so I just want us to protect ourselves in that regard. Okay. Anything else?
Will this project be right in view of the highway there? I guess I was just kind of trying to think of where exactly this is.
Yeah, if you look at the
Yeah, I
site plan,
Yeah, you'll
it's going to be,
be able to see it from the highway, but it won't be
you'll
super
definitely
close.
see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that they'll put any sort of, I mean, I guess I wonder if I were to rent a place like that, I would probably want a privacy wall or something like that. Are they talking about doing anything like that or no?
There won't be a privacy wall, no. It will be bermed. So he
Okay.
is going to do a little bit of a berm in this area, but he has a lot of plantings as well
Okay.
in these areas.
and it'll be on the back side of the parkway,
Okay.
so it won't be right up on Highway 65, so
Okay.
it'll be on the back side.
Okay.
So can you see from the map there?
Yeah.
How it will be?
Yeah, so their landscaping plan he's got tons of trees all the way through here. And again, this is going to be bermed just because this is a commercial lot, and then this one right here is the one I was talking to you about. Oh, what happened to my screen? So this is also going to be a commercial property. So they are going to do a berm through here with additional plantings on it.
So I'd suspect at some point in the future, 10 or so years in the future, once all the trees have grown and once commercial has moved into those lots and developed, that it will be kind of behind all this and you won't see it so much from the highway.
So right now, this is going to be an outlot, and this is where the future commercial is going. But also, too, there will be some type of, I don't know if he's going to be doing berming and fencing and landscaping, I don't know, around here to block the commercial
Steph?
from the residential.
Those four right there, they're
Yep. Mhm.
divided into quadrants. Are those ball fields of some sort or what?
No, so those are fourplexes.
Fourplexes, okay.
So the developer, he's going to be developing this in 2 phases. So one phase is going to be right here. He's going to do the clubhouse right here, and then the second
Okay.
phase will be over here. This is the very last phase. He doesn't even think that the townhomes will end up being built at this point. This may have to get replatted and brought into the commercial property, and it'll end up being all commercial.
Well, this'll, I'm kind of excited about this, and I can only imagine how excited Mrs. Bezanson is gonna be, because she looks at Zillow and Realtor.com and everything like that, because she wants to sell her single-family house so bad and move into a townhouse before we get older. So I think, this has been needed in East Bethel for a long time.
I'm surprised at how many people over the past few months, since they heard about this, indicated they'll probably move into there. It's like, I never would have thought that, so, our residents moving into there.
Well,
so. But you're right, this is what's been talked about since I've been involved in the city, so,
Yeah,
this housing options.
yeah.
Well, and it's density, and it gives us a better shot at grocery stores, the people that are looking for the rooftops. So that's what we're adding.
Probably doesn't hurt the school system real bad, because it's generally older people that are interested in townhomes, or younger professionals that may not be raising a family. I mean, you know, if you've got kids, you want to have a front yard, backyard for them to play in. I think it's a win-win.
Right, and it's in the area that we've indicated as higher density, and it's not really high density by any of the stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, it seems like a win-win. So you're not looking informational only? So,
Yep, just informational only.
okay. Any other comments or questions? All right. If not, we can move on. I lost my agenda. Let's go to. So is it city council report? One moment, please.
I just have a couple of things.
Yeah.
We may all be aware, but Stephanie is leaving us very soon.
I did not know that.
Moving
No.
on to Ramsey.
Friday, December 9th.
Is it December 9th, is that it?
That's it, yes.
Okay.
New plans?
Yes,
Yes.
so I took the community development director position for the city of Ramsey.
Ah. Well, great for you,
Yeah,
bad for us.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough decision. It was, you know, I really do like my position here, and what's going on is just phenomenal. I mean, there's so much stuff behind the scenes that are going on too that we haven't even been able to bring out to you guys yet, and it's a very busy time for the city.
So staff is busily getting ready to fill that position again right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because of that reason, there's so much going
Right.
on, so.
Well, best wishes.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you've done for us.
Thank you.
It's been great working with you. So are you going to let us know if there's a going away thing for staff?
There's gonna be a lot of going away stuff, I guess, so.
Yes. Okay.
And then secondly, council has, what used to be called Truth and Taxation, I'm not sure what it's called anymore, but, the first meeting in December, and that's where, we take the public comment on, the proposed levy and our budgets, and so that'll be before our council meeting, the first meeting in December. If you hadn't heard, we were able to get our tax levy increase down to 0.91%, so less than 1%. And the interesting story was when we were first going through it, our process, which starts in June, we were targeting 2% and got it down to 2%, and then the county came in with their contract for sheriff services at an 8% increase, which like totally messed up the table for us. And so then we were looking at more than 4%, and we actually worked it down, found some ways. Well, we kind of changed the scope a little bit. This next year, we will not have a community service officer, which is basically, it's a sheriff in training, and they help out office work and different things throughout the community, but they're not licensed officers yet. And we've had a CSO for a long time, over 10 years. And so we cut those services, part because of cost and partly because they have a hard time staffing it right now since COVID. So we're going to try that. That saved quite a bit of money, and then we lowered our reserves a little bit down to a little more reasonable level. So we actually got it down to 0.91%, which really is, considering all the inflation going on and the cost, because we had a lot of costs going up too. And but in the county, we had the lowest levy increase, and not by a little, by a lot. So, I mean, Oak Grove is at 17%. Ham Lake's at 14%, so just in perspective. So they may have certain reasons for that, but across the board, everyone's like, I think the average is like 8%. So we're still doing really good on that. So
How many hours are we contracting from the county?
it's
sheriff?
36 hours. It's been 36 for like
Yeah.
over 10 years now. We've had 36 hours.
36 hours a day.
Yep, which I think is the same. Oak Grove might be up there now too. They might be up to 30, but we've had 36, and the sheriff reported they didn't see any need to change because it's all based on proactive and reactive time. And they look at that and they said it stays, it's pretty good. Their responses have been kind of leveled off a little bit. Yeah, so it was interesting to negotiate. We hadn't had to negotiate with the county for a while on their contracts. It's usually pretty reasonable. But yeah, they went for a big labor increase on the contract. Evidently, that was last year, not this year. So, but they didn't tell us about it until right at the last minute. So,
Yeah, which is,
so we messed up our plans and we scrambled and came up with a better plan. So that was pretty good.
Nice work.
Good.
Yeah.
That's all I have. I don't know, Brian, if you have anything to add.
not a whole lot more. We had a good town hall meeting last week. Wasn't a full house, but had some residents that came out and had some good question and answering here. And so just like to thank staff and all the residents that came out and participated. And it's always a nice event in the spring and fall townhouses.
Any main themes? I wanted to go. I was out of town last week, but any main themes or?
Some of the questions, there's a lot kind of questions about economic development and how to improve communication with residents. How can we, what tools can we use? What can we change? So that's always an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, it's always a work in process.
Yeah, and council may have some answers, but we don't have them all. So if we get new ideas from residents, because we're all just residents,
Right.
bring them up. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it, and if we can implement it, great. Otherwise, it's been kind of a slow month for council, not a whole lot of big events, and other than election, that's probably the biggest. But as far as any news to share for the EDA, there's not a whole lot. So just want to say happy Thanksgiving coming up, and as we probably won't have a December meeting, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Steve? We're all good? All right.
Stephanie, you have
Stephanie?
anything?
No, I have nothing.
So December 9th?
Yes.
Okay. Well, best of luck in your new position.
Thank you.
Sad day.
Yes.
Sad day.
Well, have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.